Hello, Alana. How are you today?
Good, Tom. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much for joining me.
No problem at all.
Thanks, Alana. So, Alana, can you please describe the circumstances that led you to hire a live-in care in the first place?
Sure, yeah. So unfortunately, a number of years ago, my dad was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And he was diagnosed relatively young. It would have been back in 2017, 2018. He had only just turned 58, 59 at that stage. He's still relatively young now. He's only 62, but unfortunately had gotten the diagnosis and for a good few years had a very good quality of life, but then things did start to deteriorate slowly. Obviously was brought on heavily by the impact of COVID and social isolation and not having a good support network in place at that stage. But unfortunately, last year, my mother took very ill, who would have been my dad's main carer. And she ended up in hospital for the guts of 3 months, which when initially she went in for those first kind of week to 10 days, we really didn't know what we were going to do. My family, my mom and dad are based in Kilkenny. I'm based in Kildare. My brother is based in London. So it's very difficult to try and navigate having somebody there all the time. So when everything, I suppose, kind of happened, it happened very quickly and we needed a solution very quickly. And that's what led us to the live-in carer, the option of long-term respite. And obviously we didn't know how long mom was going to be in hospital for either. So the option of kind of long-term respite or care home facilities or nursing homes for dad wasn't an option because his Alzheimer's wasn't, in one way, he wasn't sick enough. But at the same time couldn't be at home on his own either. So the live-in option really was a no-brainer for us. It was the best route that we could go down at that time.
Great, Alana. And what advantages has it brought to your relatives and your family in general to have a live-in carer?
So for us in particular, it meant that dad's daily life didn't change. If anything, his daily life actually improved because my mom's health was deteriorating kind of week on week. Again, a big part of that was COVID and that social isolation and being at home, and then obviously caring for somebody when you're on your own is extremely difficult, both mentally and physically on a person. So having the live-in carer, it completely transformed their lives in the sense that the sole reliance wasn't on my mom to care for my dad, which is a very difficult thing to do, I suppose, for husband and wife. But it meant that mom could take the time. First of all, she didn't, when she was hospitalized herself, she could take the time to recover. She didn't need to worry about who was looking after dad, if a HSE carer would show up on time, if a relative was going to come in, or God forbid, if somebody got sick, what would we do? Given that myself and my brother live a particular, like I could be down in an hour, but my brother has to get on a flight from London. So it gave peace of mind, but also kept dad in his own natural environment, which for him was one of the best, I suppose, situations that we could be in because it meant there was no anxiety, there was no stress, there wasn't a change of environment, and it meant that he was extremely settled in himself, given the upheaval of the person who's with them 24 hours a day overnight suddenly being gone, which you know yourself can be extremely traumatizing for somebody.
And Alana, what advice would you have for a family that might be struggling right now with the care needs of an elderly relative?
Yeah, it is. It's something that is extremely difficult. And I suppose you can look at it from a few different aspects. But until you're in that situation, you just don't know what way it's going to be. And from our point of view, every day is completely different. My mum now, again, she's at home. She does the majority of what needs to be done for my dad, which is brilliant that they can do that. But I suppose my main advice to anyone like that is to look for help, to ask for help, to build that support network, whether it's bringing in a live-in carer, whether it's putting a kind of a schedule together with friends or family that might call. But it's reaching out. And I think that's something that we didn't do for quite some time. Again, down to COVID, various different things. Everybody's lives were busy. It takes a lot of time to come to terms with the diagnosis, whether it's dementia, Alzheimer's, or if somebody's just ill at home or old age. It can take time to adjust to the new world that you're living in. But I think the biggest bit of advice I give to anyone going through that is pick up the phone. And especially when I initially picked up the phone to your company, I didn't realize how streamlined the whole process would be from initial communication with your office. I think we had Maria, who was our carer, in situ in 2.5 to 3 weeks. And that was having gone through the interview process with a number of different people. And I kind of had at the back of my mind, you have these tasks that you need to get done, and some of them you put on the long finger and you go, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll do that the next day. And it's one of those things that you just kind of have to go, right, today's the day I'm picking up the phone. I'm going to look for that support that's needed, whether it's a carer that comes in for a few hours or it's a carer that comes in a live-in capacity. And I suppose with the live-in as well, it's a big adjustment. It's somebody coming into your home. But from our experience, when Maria joined, within a number of hours almost, she was part of the family, which made the whole process just absolutely ideal for us.
That's great, Alana. Well, Alana, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I'm sure families will get a lot of comfort and reassurance from listening to you. And if anybody'd like to find out more about ALHomecare's live-in home care service, all they have to do is go to our website, alhomecare.ie, or they can ring me directly on 087 744 0729. That's 087 744 0729. So Alana, thank you so much, and I wish you continued success with the live-in care service.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Alana, God bless. Bye now.
Bye. Bye-bye.